All right, let's get it. Good evening. Let's get accountable tonight. I'm your girl, Saran. We're going to get right into it. You know, I don't like to waste a lot of time. Let me make sure you can hear me. Check my other account. Make sure you can hear me. All right. So tonight, we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about accountability. And you're probably like, "What's that have to do with money?" Well, it has a lot to do with money because if you can't hold yourself accountable when it comes to your money, it spews over into all areas of your life. Or if you're not holding yourself accountable in your family, if you're not holding yourself accountable with your physical health, if you're not holding yourself accountable with your spiritual life, if you're not holding yourself accountable at work, all these things matter. So let's get right into the definition or kind of the basic thought around accountability. You're probably thinking, well, I need help, Saran. I need somebody to help me hold me accountable. I need somebody to hold my feet to the fire to get things done. Really, what you're asking for is someone to exact consequences upon you because nobody can hold you accountable but you. You can't hold anyone more accountable than the fact that you can hold air in your hands. You can't hold any of those things. The only person who can hold you accountable for anything, anytime, anywhere, any place is you. Because if you say, you know what, for the next 30 days, I want to get up and I want to go work out. And that's a big one, right? It's coming up on January. Everybody's creating New Year's goals, right? And I do bunny years because we all make up these New Year's goals and they run out around January 31st because the gyms are empty come February. I'm just saying. But the reality is, what's holding you accountable? You. You're the only one who gets to decide what you do and you don't do. And that's true for your finances too. But the big thing is to really, really think about why do you want to hold yourself accountable for something or someone or some activity or some behavior. So before I get too far into it, I want to give you your weekly affirmation. Your weekly affirmation is I attract money everywhere I go. I attract money everywhere I go. I attract money everywhere I go. So, but today we're really going to just let's build, as they say. Let's just talk about it a little bit. Um, and I'm going to be talking to you actually, and I want you to consider getting yourself a copy of this. This book is called The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's like $15. But in here, he really goes in, and actually, accountability is so important. There's 2 chapters in the book about accountability. And so in the book, he talks to you about how to get more done in less time. Well, here's the thing. This is my second time reading this book this year. The first time I read it, I implemented some of the things. And now this second time, I listened to the book and now I'm reading the book again because I realized it was something that I missed because I wasn't holding myself accountable enough for the things that I said I wanted to do. And so at the end of the day, let's just say you set the goal that for January 2023, and I highly recommend this. Many people, and I talk about them too. Many of us, we set budgets and different things like that. What I highly recommend for 2023, and you have time, you still have 25 or so days to plan for 2023, is to create a spending plan for 2023. And you're like, what's that? You can Google it or you can set up an appointment and I can help you set up a spending plan. But essentially, what a spending plan is, you intentionally saying how you want to spend your money for the year. What do you mean? Well, let's just say, and I always use easy math, so don't be offended if this is your number or isn't your number. This is nobody in particular's information, right? Let's say you make $100,000 a year. And then after tax, you're going to bring home like 75,000 because, Uncle Sam, he's good for like 25, 26% of whatever you make between the state and the federal. You got to, it's just one of those things. We'll work on some other strategies to legally redivert some of that. But for right now, let's just say you're bringing home $75,000 after taxes. Well, when you create your spend plan, you're going to intentionally say how much you want to spend before you put it into a budget each week, every 2 weeks, or every month when you use it. But you're going to say, right now, you're going to be planning and say, you know what, in 2023, I want to make sure that I put $25,000 into my retirement account. I want to make sure that I have $10,000 in an emergency fund. I want to make sure that I have set aside some money for college. I want to make sure I want to create a travel account to save up for multiple trips that I want to take. I want to put money aside for my favorite hobby. I like to ski. I collect dolls. I like to decorate. Whatever your hobby, whatever those things are. And I always try not to leave out the fun stuff because we need fun stuff. That's what we're here for, right? So, but you want to do that intentionally. And here's a good one. And I'm going to challenge you on this, and I'm going to post this later. It's the end of the year. Go pull your Amazon account statement. How much did you spend? And then set a limit for next year on how much you want to spend on Amazon. In general, I'm just saying. And I'm not taking an Amazon, just one example. Whatever your vice is, whatever the normal places you spend money. Now, I'm not talking basics like groceries because we got to eat. But think about those things. So at any rate, so when you do the spend plan, you're intentionally saying, this is how much I want to put towards this. And so then you take that spend plan and then you translate it into how you're going to do that based on your pay plan for the year. If you get paid every 2 weeks, if you get paid every 30 days, or if you get paid, you get paid once a month, you get paid weekly, whatever. Everybody gets paid differently. You get paid daily, who knows, whatever. You might be, a freelancer and you get paid every day, or you might be in certain industries where you can get compensated every day for the work that you do based on your results. I don't know, but you want to have a plan. So once you have your spend plan together and you've kind of really put together, I want to spend this much on health. I want to spend this much on finance. I want to do this for my family. I want to make some upgrades to the house. Whatever those major things are that you want to spend money on, you set a plan. And then you work it into your budget and you figure out how to make your budget fit how your spend plan wants to work for the year. That's a big thing. You got a couple of weeks to do it. You can also set some time when we can do it. But the thing is that even when you do it, it goes back to why you need to be accountable. Because once you put that plan in place, nobody can stop you from changing, diverting, readjusting, doing something totally left field from what you said you planned to do for the year, but you. Because even as a financial professional, unless you give me full and total control of all your accounts and I can stop you from doing anything, then it's on you. If we put together a plan and we say this is the goal, and 6 months from now something changes and you decide to do that new something, then that changes. It diverts from the plan. Now, the only person who's going to, and I don't want to use the word accountable, the only person who is going to suffer the consequences or the benefits of that change will be you. And so that's why you're accountable, right? And so accountability is something that we really have to think differently about. And I know those of you who are in the business world, we have all kinds of models based on accountability, right? The RACI model: responsible, accountable, consult, inform. Am I the accountable person? Am I the responsible person? But really start to think about it differently. So a lot of us say we want to do this, we want to work on one thing, we want to work on this thing or that thing. But in this book, one of the things that they show you is how you can focus on 2 to 3 to 5 things. I think I'm going to do 3 top things that I want to focus on 12 weeks at a time. That way, nothing gets left out and you can focus on so many things at one time. So for those of you who are business owners or aspiring business owners, if you don't have a plan that includes your whole life and your business, you're missing the mark because they all tie together, right? And so everything that are the things that shape us, if you will, they're all tied together. So you think about family, spirituality, your business, if you still work, your full-time career, kids, extracurricular activities. Maybe you do some different things. Maybe you volunteer in the community. Maybe you're a member of fraternity or sorority or one of the Masonic orders. All those things, you should be thinking about what you want to do and what your goals are in each place. Some places may be necessary. Some areas of your life may just to fulfill a social need. Because guess what? We're human beings and we need social interaction. So you want to go ahead and have some social goals in there too, right? Now, especially for my fellow introvert, extroverts, or ambiverts, you got to force yourself to go outside sometimes. And then sometimes you got to force yourself to stay in. But again, only you can hold you accountable to that. So when we start talking about accountability, we can't blame anybody else. We can't hold anybody else accountable for mistakes that we make. Passing the buck doesn't work. Victim mentality is out the door. It is a holistic approach to focusing on yourself where no one else is responsible for your life but you. And I know that that's not always a positive outlook for many people because we live in a culture where it's so easy to pass the blame, responsibility, or whatever word you want to use to someone else, or have someone else be waiting for someone else to come and save us. The reality is you are here to save you. Period. Nobody can stop you from bad decisions. Nobody can stop you from good decisions. Nobody can stop you from doing anything you decide to do as a human being. One of the things I told my kids a long time ago, I'm here for you to support you. I will always be here to do anything that you need in your life. But the biggest thing that we all have to learn is there comes a point in our lives when our own choices in our lives will impact us so much that no one may be able to help us or save us except us. And that's a big thing that we really need to take into account. And so when I go back into this book, the 12-week year, it's very intentional. And it says, what are your 3 goals? What are your top 3 goals for the next 12 weeks? And you're thinking 12 weeks, that's not even a full quarter because a full quarter is 13 weeks. Well, the 13th week, you can take a break and then plan for the next 12 weeks, right? But you can get so much done. So for example, for me, one of the things that is a challenge for me is I don't know how to do video editing, but I know how to go live. So here I am. So I have to challenge myself to learn video editing. And how much time is that going to take? Well, what are the tactics I need to do to put together a plan to learn video editing? What do I need to do? Some paid training courses? Do I need to do some YouTube University? What kind of practice am I going to do? Because just reading about it, listening about it, and doing trainings about it are never going to help me learn it. I have to actually do it and practice doing it and make mistakes to learn how to do it. And that's just one example. And so for many of you with your finances, you have had so many different things happen in your life with your finances. And sometimes you hold yourself accountable and sometimes you don't. Sometimes there's a little bit of blame on others. And sometimes it's, I feel obligated to do these things. And at the end of the day, the reality is any decision that you make with your finances are just that, your decisions. And you have to deal with that. And one of the things I often deal with in my own life and even with some of my clients is when we're planning different things in our lives and we want to have things done, we need to be planning on what we can control. I actually learned this from one of my colleagues in the government many years ago. And one of the things, I would always have these grandiose ideas of what we could do to change things and how things would be amazing if we did this. And she'd always say, let's only plan for the things that are in our control. And I'd be like, what do you mean? Well, we can get this department to do this and we can go over here and we just need approvals of that. She said, no. What can we do that we can do right now here in this space that we don't need anybody else's input from? We don't need anybody's budget. What can we control that we know we can put in place? Let's put those things in the plan because those things we know we can make happen. And so that to me was eye-opening because I'm thinking, well, I thought we were supposed to use the whole organization and do all those things. And yes, we are. But to a certain extent, we do need to make sure that some of the things that are really important to us, that we set parameters that we can control, that we set the goals that we can control. We line things up that are in a place where we can get it done, or either we have the ability to outsource it appropriately or different things, but ultimately still you're the one that's responsible for it because it's your goal and what you want to do. And so with our finances, I have many people come to me, we want to do different things, but at the end of the day, the accountability still lies with you. I'm here to help and guide and encourage and of course get you into some different things that you can't do because you're not licensed, right? But the other piece is that really we have to move forward with our own sovereignty to get things done in a certain way. So a couple of other really good tips is, we talked about the spend plan for 2023, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we, go over the next couple of weeks. But you got to figure out where your money went in 2022 or where your money's going. Because a lot of times you'll look up, you'll get paid Or you'll have some money come in and you look up and you're like, I wonder where all that money went. I just had $1,500, or I just got paid, or I just had $1,000, I just had $500, and you don't know where it went. And then you go back to your bank account and you look and you think, I wonder what did I really need $25 worth of Chick-fil-A 3 times last week? Because that's not a big deal when you're doing it. But when you start looking back at your finances and adding it up over time, you're going to see that a lot of money is being spent in places that you did not intend it to go, because that wasn't your intent. Well, however, you hadn't made any advanced plans. You didn't have food prep for the week so that you didn't have to eat out. You just had all these different things kind of come from left field that were urgent and necessary. But had there been more planning, wouldn't have been an issue. So let's figure out where our money's going, right? Or for this instance, take some time to figure out where it went this year. Go to your bank account and download the CSV file and import it into Excel. And I know that sounded super technical, but it's super not. And sort it out and try to see what some trends are. What are some places you're spending money? Where are you spending money that you didn't really want to spend money, right? I know some of y'all like, I had all these family issues. Well, then make different decisions. Or I had all these unexpected bills come out of nowhere. Well, plan differently. Figure out which one of those things you can plan ahead for so that they're not unexpected. But really, to think about it, you have to put together a plan. You have to set a financial plan and it's a financial goal, which is what I talked about at the very beginning of this video, is the spend plan and to create the budget, and you have to execute. Now, are we perfect? Are you going to execute it perfectly all the time? No, but the goal is to get to 80, 85%, and you're going to win. But doing that puts you in a place to feel good. And the biggest differentiator in all these things is when you put a plan together that's not so restrictive. Put a plan together that allows you to get to do all the things that you want to do, right? Because there's a difference between having to do something and getting to do something, right? If I wake up in the morning and say, I have to go to the gym, it feels laborious. It feels like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym, because if I don't go to the gym, all these other spiral negative things will happen. But if you wake up and say, man, I get to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym today. It feels differently as you move forward in your journey, because you get to go to the gym. Because the reality is, if we had to do a comparison, everyone doesn't get to go to the gym for whatever their reasons are. Maybe it's physical limitations. Maybe there are lots of things that are in place that don't allow them to be able to do it. But you get to go to the gym, and some people don't. And then, I probably talked about this ad nauseum. Automate. There's certain things in our financial lives we should have automated. We should have accounts set up to go various different places. And this helps you with your accountability, holding yourself accountable, because you said you wanted to travel. So where is your travel account that has money automatically going into it to save for this travel that you want to do? Because it shouldn't be that you're always at the last minute whipping out credit cards to do things, especially if you don't have a system to automatically pay the debt off at lower interest rates that allows you to leverage funds and get interest at the same time. Whole different story, whole different video. But what's the plan? But you got to stick to these things, right? Sticking to the budget, sticking to the spend plan. Again, give yourself 85%, give yourself a 15% window. I mean, we can, we don't have to all be A students, but we can definitely be B and B plus students, right? Because you got to get that master's degree. And right now, we're getting a master's degree in your money, not anybody else's money, but your money, right? And the thing people always want to ask me is, what should I be doing with my finances? And here's the deal. You should be putting yourself in a position to strategically take advantage of many or most of the ways that you can invest and save and do strategic financing. And you're probably like, whoa, that's a lot. I didn't say do it all at once. What I'm saying is start small, start where you are, because at the end of the day, it's something that's going to hedge your protection against lots of different things in the life. So many of you say you want to create generational wealth. Well, you know what? If you're making $50,000, $100,000 a year, you're at the beginning stages of figuring out, how do you get there? You're going to get there $1 at a time. or $50 at a time or $100 at a time. It may not come to you in a windfall, but you can create a way that in the future, maybe your family members will do that. But the idea is that you have to build up to it. I'm going to step on some toes with some of my ladies, but if you said, you know what, you saw the most amazing Louis Vuitton bag that you must have, and it was $2,500. You didn't have $2,500. You had $250, right? What are you going to do? Are you going to go buy the knockoff for $250? But you really want to have this Louis Vuitton because that's your thing. You like brand names, right? What's the plan to get to $2,500? Well, you're probably going to start stacking your cash to get the money to buy this bag because that's what you want. Or some people use credit. I mean, I'm not for it, but it's your thing, food, fashion, and fun. I feel like you shouldn't charge, but that everyone can do what they like. But if you save the money, you can take the time, you can put together a plan and figure out, I can buy this bag that I want in 6 months if I save aggressively or I do certain things or I set it up where I can buy this bag for cash. Now, if you can't carry $2,500 in your purse, and it's just me, maybe you shouldn't carry a $2,500 purse, but do your thing, right? But at the end of the day, you set a goal to be able to do it. Now, but you can do the same thing with all areas of your financial life. You just have to decide that that's what you want to do. I personally get annoyed when I run my reports at the end of the year to kind of figure out where I spent my money. And maybe I went to the drive-through too many times. Last year, I remember doing this, and I was very annoyed that I spent almost $1,000 at Chick-fil-A. I think it was like $750. I was super annoyed by it. Why? I don't have anything against Chick-fil-A. I don't have anything against chicken. But I was annoyed that I had poorly managed my time and not planned enough so that I would not be wasting money in the fast food line. So I was intentional this year about cutting back on my visits to Chick-fil-A and redirecting the funds to something else because I don't want at the end of my life at my life review, get to the pearly gates, and they're like, you was at Chick-fil-A with all the money we gave you, all the riches, all the talents. You spent all your money at Chick-fil-A and Amazon. I want to be able to have done different things. I know many of us coming out of the pandemic have this new invigorated zeal for travel. Well, guess what? I don't want to eat out at fast food restaurants and different things when I could be redirecting that money to my travel account, or I could be saving or putting that money aside to enjoy the finer restaurants. When I go out, I can go to the newest craze that comes out and spend my money there. And not that I can't do both financially, but do I want to waste money that way? Or do I want to be intentional on how I do it? Again, it's all about intentionality and holding yourself accountable to get those things done. And if you want to do these things, you have to stay disciplined. Are we staying disciplined? Well, maybe not. But discipline, even when you look at discipline and accountability, it's still you. You still have to hold yourself accountable to build the discipline to get to the goals that you want to get to. Now, I'm not talking about discipline in the sense of you're in trouble and, now you get reprimanded and you have some repercussions that, come with this consequences. But what I'm saying is create the discipline to do things automatically for yourself. One of the things I've created for myself recently is I automatically meal prep every week. Like on Thursday, I'm thinking, what am I going to eat next week? Okay, I need to go to the store. I need to get salmon. I need some more vegetables. And I need, coffee cream. I got to have coffee creamer. I need coffee creamer. So when I go to the store, I get the things I know I need and I'm not overspending. I'm not spending a bunch of money because I'm only getting what I need for the next week or two. And then I come home, I make a couple of meals. And when I go through my week, I grab grab 2 meals, put a bag together of food and snacks or whatever, and I go about my business because then for that whole day, I'm not worried about spending money in fast food restaurants. I already have something set up. Now, does that mean that I always eat those meals? About 80-90% of the time, I absolutely do. Maybe even 95% of the time. But that gives me a better result than the reverse, not preparing, and I'm doing the opposite 90% of the time, right? So again, it's about putting those plans together. And at the end of the day, we all have to learn to celebrate ourselves, celebrate what we're doing well, celebrate the good things in our lives, celebrate, a hurdle maybe we've come over, celebrate a mental challenge, or the way we see something or the way we think about something, celebrating those things so that you can feel good that you did something different for yourself. Now, if you need help, I do have what we call a vision and manifestation journal. It's about 30, 40 pages, super quick, lots of worksheets, lots of ways to help you build yourself up, especially with the new year coming. It's in the comments on the post for this original video. You can go to saranbaker.co, not .com, but saranbaker.co, and you can download it for free. And oh, guess what? I might even check on you after you download it to see where you are and what you're doing and how you're doing with the information that's put together, because at the end of the day, you are the only one who can hold you accountable. Anyone else is checking in on you and helping you and guiding you through the process, but we really have to do what we do. It's kind of like motivation. It doesn't last, right? But neither does showering. You got to do that every day. So get up and motivate yourself every day, and get up and hold yourself accountable every day. I mean, get it. Now, some people don't shower every day, but that's their business. I absolutely do, maybe 2 times, maybe 3, depending on, the weather. But the thing is that you have to do these things for yourself every day. If you get up and you brush your teeth every day and you wash your butt, then you can get up and do other things for yourself that matter, right? And maybe start with something small. Make your bed. Hold yourself accountable for making your bed. And you're probably thinking, that's simple. I don't do that. I don't need to do that. But making your bed, there's a whole psychology behind just making your bed every day. And so it's the first victory that you can create for yourself right now. And then we can get to the more challenging things like redirecting your money, getting your money set up in a more efficient way, creating a path for yourself and your family to have generations of wealth, and for you to live a richer, happier life today, not tomorrow. But that's all I have. I'm your girl Saran. I'll be back again next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, via StreamYard. So see you then. Bye.